in martial arts, lovers of tournament fighting, MMA people, all those interested in learning the Warriors Code. I am Sifu Blaps, and this is Warriors Life Classes. Each week I'm going to be doing a roundup of the 1 minute Wing Chun classes that I do during the week, which touch upon one aspect of the martial arts from one point to another, introducing the life of a warrior, not only the martial arts itself, but also the mind and spirit cultivation as well, because we're trying to become self-enlightened, enlightened of our weaknesses and our strengths, and understanding of the true power of our nature, what we can do with it to betterment of humankind. We're trying to find a balance between Mother Nature, the universe, and humanity to make it safer for our children to live and to provide a better, harmonious environment to grow up in and to live through. So the simple thing of learning how to protect yourself shows you how to protect your community as well, and anything else that you love. It starts from understanding you are a human and you are capable of immense things, immeasurable things, mad, crazy stuff that you never thought you were capable of doing. So what I'm going to do in these classes is round up and make it more clear what I was talking about in those quick 1 minute tasters to talking about what a life of a warrior is like. I started martial arts when I was very young, like about 5. My dad taught us martial art that he was learning at the time, and we all went off into our different ways. We're talking about my three brothers, 2 elder, 1 younger, and we all learned martial arts before we left the family home, all around about 17, 18 years old. I knew 3 martial arts before I was 17. Studied 3 martial arts before I learned 17. Properly studied as well, not messed about with them. And went on to learn 4 more throughout my life up until this point. So I know 2 types of Tai Chi and 6 other martial arts. Wing Chun is the main one that I teach, because it is the one where it's the most practical for the most people. Most people can do Wing Chun very easily because it's already in them. Literally, I'm like Michelangelo, chipping away at the stone and bringing out the wonderful creation out of the stone, chipping away all the superfluous parts. It's a very quick system to learn in terms of what needs to be known before you're proficient, and it's a very practical martial art. It's based on a woman's physiology and mentality, and so is very practical, flexible, enduring, and fresh. When you're learning any martial art, you have to make sure that it covers all the bases. Those bases are your striking, your grappling, and your wrestling. It's the 3 ways human beings learn how to fight. They can pick up implements and there's weaponry, but even then it's not a weapon fight, it's surviving a weapon situation. So we're going to learn in these Warriors Life classes how to avoid conflict, because the primary weapon is your body, or is their body. So I want to get straight to the point. There's going to be 5 every week. The 5 on the first week, I've done 25 so far, but the 5 in the first week were: number 1, why you can't fight yet; number 2, hand conditioning; number 3, learn acrobatics; number 4, fight like a woman; and number 5 was keep calm and be aware of your environment. Why I go through while I go through all these, always understand that it doesn't matter which martial art you do. These will apply to you, because even martial artists who have learnt for a long time can get attacked in the street and get overwhelmed because they're not learning correctly enough. What they're doing in class is an idea of what could happen in the street. And the way I say to people is, if you've been in a car crash, you can tell someone what it's like to be in a car crash. But if you have not, then you have to listen to someone else. And that's what most martial artists are doing. They're listening to someone else that's been in a car crash. But if your Sifu, your instructor, your sensei, your guru, your master, your man, your woman, your person that gives you instruction has not been in a real situation where they've saved their life using what they're doing, then you're missing out. And that's what I give to my students. It's an experience of having a security firm, growing up in the wrong neighbourhood, having the wrong attitude, growing up in the wrong neighbourhood, going through a lot of little personal wars, going through a time in my life when it was pretty crazy. Things were going crazy in my head. I sorted it out through martial arts, and I wrote a book about it. Very cathartic. Thank you very much. And the security firm that I've got, and the security life that I got into through owning a security firm and teaching door supervisors, teaching everyday people how to become door supervisors themselves. Once you learn this wonderful course, I think regular people just should learn should go through this course, because it teaches you so much about humanity and how to keep safe. And so yeah, a lot of the stuff that I learn through martial arts and security are going to be in these videos that I do each week, and then I'll do a roundup of them because they're only 1 minute long. Just telling you to keep hold of a new aspect that you probably haven't thought of being a Wing Chun instructor. And then understanding how to use this information, how to practice using this information in times of peace. In times of peace is when there is no attack going on. So that's all the rest of the time you've got for training, is when there's nothing going on. When the situation happens, that's when you utilize it. If you can't get away, that's what your martial arts is for. If you have to fight, you have to use it correctly and efficiently as possible, and just get out of the situation as possible. So the first one, why you can't fight yet. This video was aimed towards people who may have gone through the first or second level of their martial art and think they could probably have it with pretty much everyone. But I would say about 50 to 60% of the common criminal will not be able to deal with you at this point. We're talking about, yeah, you can punch a little faster, you've done a lot of sit-ups, press-ups, you've got fitter, you're much more confident because you're sparring with seniors and instructors, and you have a little sparring with them, and they push you beyond your limits all the time. You're getting better and better and better over the 15 months you've been training. And so, yeah, you think you're capable. You might think you're capable. But there's always one thug that has done a little boxing training, done a little karate training, done a little something back in the day, got on the rails and got into a bad life, and now is in front of you, capable of dodging your first awesome technique you learned at school, at your martial arts school, and punches you in the mouth. And because you've never been hit before, you've sparred where someone's had a boxing glove on, and you've had shin pads and your head guard, and you got your head rattled a bit, but you didn't really get a shock of brutal fist against face and knee coming into your chin and kick to ribs and groin getting stamped on. These things are unusual to your body, and your body will react just like any other car crash. It will be chaos, it will be shocking, it will be shock and awe, as they say. And so most martial artists aren't ready for that, even when they're slightly trained. So I would suggest to you that you do a lot of scenario training. Train for getting two people onto one. Train for what you've got to defend your friend who does not know martial arts, who wants to have a fight, who's trying to protect you but doesn't know anything, so probably will get us into more trouble. You've got to get them out of the situation while defending yourself against three people. One of the two might have a weapon, and one is dragging your right arm, and you've got to defend with one arm and defend the other guy. So, you know, it's put yourself through it. Put yourself through the ringer. Make your training much more realistic to the life that you're living. So if you're a student of martial arts that is going to competition, have your training geared that way. Gear it towards fighting in the ring. Fine. You'll always get to a point where you're able to use it in a real situation, but still come to these classes to be able to learn how to spot triggers in the crowd around you, how to spot problems coming, so you avoid them, so you don't have to use your skills. Because the first person going to jail is the martial artist who's supposed to be under control, who is now a lethal weapon in the eyes of the law. Okay, so number 2, hand conditioning. I've been conditioning because I've gone through 7 martial arts. Each one of them deals with the same thing: wrestling, striking and grappling. You have to condition your body to falling on the floor, being punched, stamped on, kicked, bludgeoned, maybe had weaponry that you've never seen before, chains. You have to get ready, and your body has to get ready, because if the body is shocked, then your attitude will be a shocked person and you will freeze, and then you won't be able to protect yourself efficiently. So I would suggest that you get into some conditioning and do it as many times during the day as possible, with starting soft and working up to harder equipment to condition your bones, muscles, sinew. And don't just stay on one part of your body. Go to all parts that hurt when they're hit. That is the main places, because if someone knows what they're doing and hits you in a place where normally it hurts everywhere else, then I'm not suggesting you go out and get kicked in the groin 3 times every week. But I would suggest putting on a lot of padding and getting kicked lightly, and then move on to harder and harder, until you can take a good wallop or 3 while groin padded up, and then later on take a lighter tap with hardly anything on. It's a crazy life you're living in the martial arts, right? But I'm saying is conditioning is everywhere. I mean, groin kicks work a lot. That's why women get taught it so fast by their fathers. but yes, I'm trying to say, everywhere you feel you're going to get hit, learn to take pain there. Learn to take some abuse in that area. All right. So that's what hand conditioning is for. It's not about just blocking and not being hurt. It's about striking, knowing that you don't mind what you hit, be it wall, be it chin, because your hand is used to impact and has taken abuse over a long period of time and is used to it. That's what you're trying to build up, tolerance to pain. And moving on to number 3, which is learn acrobatics. I'm not saying we need to jump about like we've been in a circus most of our life. But what I am saying is that your body needs to be flexible. Acrobatics, gymnastics came from martial arts. It wasn't martial arts came from gymnastics. And what that means is that back in the day when it was war, they had to learn martial arts, had to learn how to avoid weaponry, poles and sticks and knives and swords and all kinds of swinging implements, and we had to learn to avoid it. People on horseback, people on chariots. We had to learn to get out of the way. So if you're not used to being able to dive and then tuck and roll and get onto your feet and then run for a long period of time, stop and fight on a hill and then jump down off the hill, and then you're not ready for war. And what I'm saying is public areas these days are not normally hilly and with lots of rocks to hide behind and things like that. But we do have an environment that we have to be flexible enough to work with, in terms of your body needs to understand that it's going through something that's unusual, but it's ready for unusual. If your body is not ready for it unusual, it cannot tolerate it, then spasms will occur, and then you'll get pain, and you'll get old people can get up from their chair too quickly, and they pull a muscle because their body's not ready for that kind of sharp movement. But your body is young, and even you doing a sharp movement can cause you injury. So if your body's not ready for it, there you go. What we're doing is preparing your body to do crazy stuff, and say, yeah, I'm used to that, I'll let it carry on, because your body will try to shut you down if there's too much pain. I think yes, that's good enough. Right, acrobatics, that's what that was about. Number 4, fight like a woman. Like I was saying, if there's because Wing Chun, the martial art I teach, is based on a woman's physiology and thinking, a methodology. It's not about strength. It's not about overcoming another one by struggling with them. The martial art is there for you to escape. Is utilised to escape from a situation. If you get grabbed, you escape quickly. If someone punches, you wrestle. If someone wrestles, you grapple. If someone grapples, you strike. So it's a matter of using your martial art to escape the situation as soon as possible. Understand what's going on. Escape it by hitting the most painful places as hard as possible, as many times as possible, and cause enough pain for them to let you go and for you to escape. Because you're thinking like a woman. If you think like a man, you'll get your ego involved incorrectly, and you'll stay there and struggle and battle, and it's all be about honour and righteousness and all this kind of stuff. You'll have all this kind of nonsense going on in your head when all you should be doing is leaving the situation. So fight like a woman. Make sure that you fight the same way a woman will fight, because men fight with that honour thing going on, and Queensberry rules and blah blah blah. In the back of their head. I mean, they could act like animals just as well. But what we're talking about is we will have a pint afterwards, but women are all about, how dare you? You can't put your hands on me. How dare you? My father don't even touch me. So, and so they fight tooth and nail. They don't care. They'll bite, they'll scratch, they'll rip your eyes out, they'll drag you around, they'll ragdoll you with your hair. That's how women fight. And yeah, I'm saying to use your wonderful techniques while acting out like a woman would in a fight. And just, how dare you, tear them apart, shock and awe, and get out of the situation. I would rather get a beating from my father than my mother, because my dad would just, I'm getting my belt, and you get whoop, 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 and get out of it. And then my mum would just say, blah, 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 be in your face and slap you in the face, and then she'll grab something to beat you with. And it doesn't matter where you are, she'll grab you and beat you with whatever she grabs. So you'd rather have a beating in your bedroom where it's all soft and comfy, rather than in the kitchen where all the